Y'all know what it is. Jay Williams, Let's Live Life, and we're back. So you a gangster, huh? So you a killer. We don't believe you. You need more people. Everybody's a gangster until a real gangster shows up. Today we're going to get into some of the dudes I met and ran across that was real gangsters. Professional fighters I ran across. Let's relive it. I'm going to start this video off by showing y'all a clip of a dude named Eric Olsen. You know, from Europe, fights in England, fights all over, bare knuckle boxing. Fights everywhere doing MMA. Me and Eric linked up through Instagram. He hit me up one day. He'd done a lot of time in New York. He's out in New York and he's just constantly getting in trouble, staying locked up. He got tired of it. So somehow he made his way over to, to England. Now he fights bare knuckle boxing. Now he's able to actually let that rage out in a manner that doesn't get him in trouble. But with that, you still gonna have wannabe gangsters test your gangster. The clip I'm about to show y'all is of Eric at his house. And these three guys show up there. Dude by the name of Mark Gabier shows up. This is a 6'5", 265-pound man. They've been going back and forth on social media, over the phone. Dude's throwing threats. Dude, Eric tells him, you can get it. You know what I mean? They were supposed to do it in the gym. Dude didn't ever show up. This is a UFC heavyweight. Dude really didn't want no smoke. He comes to Eric's house because Eric's supposed to be at a fight and something happened. It fell through. So these dudes drive. He drives 3 hours with 2 of his homeboys to fight someone smaller than him because he already knows what it is. He's not really that gangster. He's trying to test Eric gangster, but he's going to bring some guys with him. Don't go well. They show up thinking he's not there. They went there on some he ain't there shit. We're going to intimidate his girl. The kids are there. We'll make a big scene. Not knowing he didn't catch that flight. Not knowing he was home. Like I told y'all, everybody's a gangster until a gangster shows up.
Don't worry about it. There's a few of us here waiting for it. But tonight's not the night. I tell you, it's Mark here, and now I know where he is. He's only have fun with it. What with me?
Holding his hand there, or is it his shoulder? Has he got a bit?
Things to say. 1, are you really fucking homeless? Look at the state of your fucking jacket. Do you not shave? Do you not cut your hair? You look like you haven't seen a bath since the fucking English conquered fucking Scotland. 2, I can be fat because I'm not homeless, motherfucker. I eat food. Me fat would still fold your little fucking bony ass completely in half. 3, nobody wants to see you fight. They just like seeing you get beaten up. Everybody who watched your fight watched it for Tyler.
Shout out to Eric. He used part of one of my stories in the beginning of one of his videos, one of my sayings. So I showed y'all a small clip of, his highlights, just some of it. And then a clip of these dudes showing up at his house, him coming outside with a knife and his dog. These guys got batons. The one dude's got a machete. Like, they're really trying to act all that part. But once he came out the house, 3-on-1, plus the dog, they ain't want no smoke, man. They never wanted it to begin with. They just wanted the whole story to tell and people to say, oh, they win it, dude, and or he wouldn't come outside. They ain't expect that man to come out, you know what I mean, in a pair of boxers with his dog and a knife, like, come on, let's get it, 3-on-1, let's go. You seen what happened? Them dudes took off. Yeah, so that's what it is, man. When being gangster goes wrong. Showed up looking for some wreck and got embarrassed. Y'all see we got Big Max in here. For y'all say Max needs to use the bathroom, he's whining. Max can be a pain in my ass sometimes. If I let Max out the truck, Max will cry to get back in the truck. So he's in the back seat, he's chilling. So let's get into these prison stories. I got some street stories for y'all also. We're at a party one night, right? And somebody else once told me in prison, they said, the loudest man in the room is the weakest man in the room. It took me a while to understand what that means. And I finally figured it out. When someone's always loud, talking loud, doing stuff to make themselves be noticed, you can predict what to expect. Dangerous people don't have to go doing all this and doing all that because people already know. If you're a killer, people know you're a killer. You don't have to walk around saying, I'm a killer. If you're a cop, you don't have to walk to me and say, you're a cop. I can see you're a cop. It's just how the world goes. So the loudest man in the room is the weakest man in the room. Dudes do all that barking, all that loud mouthing, all this and all that as a scare tactic. But what happens when a real gangster shows up? So like I was telling y'all, we're at this party one night, right? Me, my brother Philly, whole bunch of my homeboys from my neighborhood. And the party we go to, there's this place out here called ABC Builders. And the dudes' kids, they're like in their 20s, are rich. And they throw these massive parties, man. I mean, parties with cranes set up, bands, more kegs than, a couple hundred people could drink. They got land, so we go out there, going to this party, trying to see what's popping, you know what I mean? We get there, and you got these other dudes that we really don't mess with, and they're deep. It's a whole bunch of them, and it ain't but about maybe 8 of us. We make our way to the party, it's packed. I mean, this is one of the parties that, this ain't no regular house party, it's 100 plus people here, right? We go out on the back porch, and we see these dudes immediately, and like I said, they're deep, man. Probably upwards of 20 of these dudes. We don't get along with them. We done rumbled a couple of them in the past. But 8 of us is way more than 20 of them, if you get what I'm saying. We're 8 solid. They're 20 whatevers. We'll go out on the back deck. We're out there, drinking beers, smoking blunts. Here a bunch of them comes out the back door, right? Onto this big-ass deck. There's a pair of boxing gloves laying there. 2 pair. One of the dudes picks up the gloves, looks over in our direction, and he's a loudmouth. Known for being a loudmouth. Known for fighting. But he's his biggest fan. He's convinced he's a gangster, right? I guess the alcohol got him, whatever. He wasn't drunk, but he was, feeling himself. Picks the gloves up and says, I'm nice with these gloves. Puts them on his hands. Before he can get his gloves on, my brother Philly picks the gloves up, slides them on like Jay lace these Jones real quick. I lace them up time. Dude says, who wants to box? Brother Philly turns around, pats the gloves. Let's get it. Dude tells his homeboys, watch this, I'm gonna knock his ass out. He steps up. As soon as he raises his gloves, takes 2 steps forward, brother hits him with a 2-piece. Boom, boom! Knocked him all the way out. Stretched him against the rail, unconscious. All his homeboys and them are supposed to be gangsters, right? They buck forward like they're gonna do something. We all come off the rail, come forward, and they all back up. The homeboy eventually wakes up, they pick him up, and they leave. Everybody's a gangster until a real gangster shows up. Had a homeboy named Hook in prison. And Hook was a trained fighter. Hook was a boxer on the streets. Done a lot of time in the gym. Had a bunch of different fights in the ring. Hook was a blood dude. Hook was so humble. So cool. He didn't, he talked like everybody else. He didn't sound like he came out of like the city or the projects or Not to say that's how people sound, but Hook did not sound like your typical dude. So to sum it up, Hook was a smart dude, man. Blood dude. Didn't really need a gang. I don't really understand why Hook was even part of a gang, but he was. Dudes in prison love to try to use their mouth to win their battles. A lot of dudes feel like if they can put fear in you just by their mannerisms, poking their chest out the way they ball their face up, threatening you, that they've won the fight already, and that they bitch you in front of everybody, and they ain't got to really worry about catching no wreck, right? No type of smoke. Hook would be on the basketball court one day. I mealed up with Hook a couple times. Shout out to you, Hook, if you see this, man. You're a good dude. Please hit me up on Instagram, Jay Let's Live Life. Hook's on the basketball court. He's probably a good, even, 6 foot tall. And dude is talking shit. You know what I mean? Hook is boofing on this boy, dunking on this boy, running the court with him, making him look stupid out there. And the dude decides he feels like, you know what I mean, he wants to take it somewhere else. Oh, you fouled me, you fouled me. Hook's like, bro, I didn't foul you, man. You know what I mean? It was a good gameplay. I didn't foul you. Dude still persisting. Wants to take Hook over to the corner. We got a handball court beside the building. It's a blind spot from the tower and the perimeter vehicles. If people stand in a line, they can't see what's going on. He calls Hook out. Let's go to the corner. Hook tells him, man, you don't want to go to the corner, man. Dude is out there making the most noise. You a pussy, you this, you that. Hook tells him, brother, say what you want to do, man. Pick the ball up. Let's get back to the game. It's a full court blacktop basketball game out on the yard, right? Dude's, nah, we're going to rumble. I'll beat your ass. Hook goes over, picks the ball up, starts dribbling. Dude keeps running his mouth. Hook drops the ball. He's like, all right, let's go to the corner. They go to the corner. They square up, and you can see that once they get to the corner, this dude that was just doing all that gangster shit, his whole demeanor has now changed because y'all squared up and it's going down. You have to fight and see what it really is. It don't take Hook maybe 5 seconds, man. And after 3-4 punches, this boy is bleeding all out of everywhere. It cracked the bridge of his nose, split his eyebrow, and he is now sitting in the dirt, leaking everywhere. Just, not knocked out, but just woozy, punch drunk, like a lunch truck. Like, you know what I mean? Goes to show you, don't ever test the next man's gangster if you ain't built like that. Everybody's a gangster till a gangster shows up. Next one I'm going to give y'all, man, is we had an old guy that was in prison, and I can't remember his name. I know he made parole after 35 years. Had a life sentence, been in there a long time, and he was an old boxing coach. He used to be down at the gym. He'd take the younger guys, put the gloves on them, try to teach them how to box. Try to give them some structure in their life, not teaching them how to box for the sake of trying to hurt somebody else, but trying to guide these young guys in a better direction other than what they were doing. He would train with dudes, train with the pads, show them how to throw a jab, throw a hook, throw an uppercut, the 1, 2, 3s, all that. Dude was nice, man. To be as old as he was cut up like he was 20 years old. And, was ready for the Olympics. This old black man would take his shirt off, and he was just ripped. He stayed fit. He stayed training. He stayed working out. Wasn't big on the weights. Did more calisthenics, jump roping, push-ups, things like that, pull-ups. He had that, that physique that lets you know that once upon a time he was somebody. We're down there at the gym one day, man, and this younger dude, he's training with the younger dude, and his homeboys are watching and stuff. And dudes are telling him, man, you waste your time with that old man. Man, that old man, he gonna get your ass beat up. And they keep running their mouths, right? He gets to a point where he's tired of hearing it. And eventually he tells them, well, if you think you can beat me, put the gloves on, come over here and show this old man something. You know what I mean? Come on, young boy, put the gloves on. Stop talking. Stop standing over there being a bitch talking on the sidelines in the gym. If you want it, come get it. Dude said, man, you ain't said nothing, man. You know what I mean? But don't make me beat you up, old man. He said, put the gloves on. Show me. Show me that you can beat me. You know what I mean? I'm not going to do all that talking. Either put the gloves on or shut up and walk off. Young boy don't listen, man. He just ain't got no sense. He comes over there, and these ain't full-size boxing gloves. These are more like MMA gloves. You're talking like 4 6-ounce gloves, small gloves. Comes over there, laces up his gloves. They square off. The old man just lets him throw his punches. The old man just weaves them, picks and parries, smacks him down, moves out the way. And this goes on for about 30, 45 seconds. Young boy can't hit him, right? He's throwing. And the old man's just moving out the way, showing him like, man, footwork is on point. Bob and weave game is on point. Like, you can't even hit me. Dude, the young boy throws a wild punch. And when he does, old head ducks that jump, comes up and hits him. Boom! Sends him sideways and sleeps him right there. First hit, only hit he threw. He caught this boy in the side of his jaw, pushed that button right there. Boom! Sent him over on the side, and he was unconscious. Everybody's a gangster until a gangster shows up. I got one more for y'all, then I'm going to jump out of here. I'm making the videos longer, so in making them longer, it takes a lot longer for them to upload. So I've got to try to cut these a little bit shorter, right? So I'm in the jail. We got this tall white dude, man. He's like a hippie dude. He's always talking about these flowers he's eating that make him trip. He's always talking about magic mushrooms. He's talking this, he's talking that. We just think he's a hippie. Nobody knows, before he got all into this flower power, hippie state that he's now in, he was a fighter. And not only was he a fighter, he was a very good fighter. Golden glove boxer, had fought all the way up until he decided he didn't want to fight no more, probably in his early 20s, I'd say 24, 25. He gets caught up with a whole bunch of ecstasy, a whole bunch of acid, gets sent to jail. You would never think, this dude looking at him, that he was a gangster. You would look at him and think, he's an easy target. He's going to get extorted. He's going to get robbed. He comes into the pod, links up with a bunch of other white dudes. Like I told you, this is your typical shaggy-looking hippie dude. The dude's trying. He's been there maybe 4 or 5 days. They wait till he gets his commissary. Bunch of boys run up in his cell and tell him run that. We see him going across the pod. I overheard them talking about robbing him, about them going in the cell and taking his stuff. So that's what they do. They run up in his cell and they tell him run that. Dude tells him, man, y'all go ahead, back up out my cell. I'm not giving y'all nothing, man. He's testing their gangster. They're trying to test his, but they think he's soft. Don't ever look at somebody and assume anything. You know what I mean? They say assume, that's just makes an ass out of you and me. The first two go through the door. Well, actually, the first one goes to the door, and I looked over, and I seen his hands extend out, reach, and grab the dude and actually snatch him into the cell. And before the second dude could get to the door, he had already crushed the first dude. He gets to beating the second dude, and the other dudes that were with him would not go in that cell. They turned around and walked off. He come out with his shirt ripped, blood all over the front of him, and told him, y'all come in here, get some. Come get some. Come take my commissary. Come get it from me. He looked around the pod and he said, don't get me fucked up. Don't think that because I'm chill and I look like this, that at any given moment, I can't snap out of here and just destroy one of y'all. Now come get these 2 pieces of shit out my cell. Dudes did not go get their homeboys. Them 2 dudes eventually got up, came out the cell completely mangled. Both of their faces looked like they had just been running head first in the fist for the last 30, 45 minutes and had lost miserably. I met a lot of dudes, man, in prison that were trained fighters. And I'll do another video on this. I wanted to do just some everyday dudes that I ran across that, did their thing. But there's a moral to this story. You never know who the next man is. You never know what the next man is capable of. Don't pretend to be something you're not or somebody you're not. Don't be out here barking all loud and be surprised when a real gangster shows up and all that bullshit you pulling goes out the window. You might be able to convince yourself you're hard. You might be able to convince others you're hard. But when you run up against somebody that is really about that life, really knows how to throw them hands, and has that beast inside of them that they're ready to let loose to eat your ass, you better be ready. So y'all know what this is, man. These prisons, these institutions, detention centers, facilities, they're all just crazier worlds inside of this already crazy world we live in. And y'all know what I'm doing, man. I'm just trying to keep y'all entertained. Oh, you not entertained? And as always, this is Jay Williams. Let's live life. To all my real ones and the awesome real ones watching, because y'all still watching me. Y'all know how we do. Salute.